think the theme of day 6 will be guilt, and the guilt that I feel when I don't feel guilt. And that's relatively new. In the last 6 months, I've been, even more recently, I'm kind of so solid in the latest area of my life. So it's kind of like a gradual thing. So I don't know, 10 years ago, I stopped feeling guilty about not calling back. Someone calls me and I don't call them back because I just don't want to, for instance. Like, not a friend, but, or even a friend. So that was then a big deal, then it became not a big deal. So, and then once something is just second nature, you kind of moved from that old behavior to new behavior. A new old behavior comes up that is ready to be dealt with. So this guilt, it's like probably the final frontier for me. And tonight I can't even name it because it's that bit raw, or just too sensitive to mention. But I've been feeling so solidly not guilty. That makes me feel slightly guilty. That's kind of, or making me realize the layers and the pervasiveness of this sense of guilt. So let me give you some example. Maybe not, or maybe I'll even, I might even mention the ultimate one. So, years ago, I would have been receiving and experiencing love, and I really want to do air quotes, love from, let's say, friends, maybe family, but more friends, far more friends. But it comes with the price. But the price isn't maybe what typically you'd expect. It's not like, oh, love me back. I mean, there's that, but it's more like you should be grateful that you're loved. I don't know. Does that not sound like a threat to you? And I'm not saying these people meant it as a threat. And back to my previous probably video, I think it was the previous one, where I talked about how we need to really be careful what we say and how we say. I think we are all things. Like, we are human. We have access to the spectrum of emotions that, maybe a third of that we rather no one ever found out about, but we are able of feeling it. So there's no shame in feeling it. In fact, shame is, the S word really, but bear with me. So there's no shame in feeling anything and everything, feeling it, right? And admitting to yourself that, hey, I just had this feeling and it's pretty horrid, but I had it. So I'm not going to judge it and whatever. And I'm not going to give you a quick lesson in shadow work, but my point is, there is a huge, wise gap between letting yourself feel everything you're feeling and choosing what to do with it. So the choice of action is what defines a person. That someone feels jealousy, anger, hatred, that wants violence, aggression, that you have those emotions bubbling up in you. It's just a given. We all do, and it's just, but what makes a difference between, an evolved or in my world, a quality person, a person that I want to spend time with, is someone who will be careful about not acting out and not reacting from those emotions, actually pausing and developing vigilant and acute awareness of their vibrations. So if it's acidic, if it's spiteful, if it's poisonous, not to judge themselves, but just to think, do I want to give this to this other person? And not to mention if someone you allegedly say you love, because, so back to the beginning of this story, is that I remember a friend that I ended up eventually breaking up with, meaning just disappear, just like pull myself out of that equation because there was no dialogue to be had, the one that I felt was productive. And yeah, she I think it was on the back of me trying to just not answering or not responding to her calls or not wanting to meet up as often as she wanted to, something along those lines, that she then ended up telling me in passing. And it wasn't malicious. I mean, she was, I do love her. I wish her all the bestest things in life. No bad feeling, but just I remember that moment when she said it, and there was a threat in her voice, but like I say, I'm absolutely sure it wasn't, it wasn't meant as such, but it's that tone. It's like almost like you should be lucky, you should consider yourself, like you should be grateful. Sorry, I'm translating from a different language. You should be grateful that you're loved. I mean, I'll just, even when I say it, something just scrapes my heart. So yeah, so that's one piece that I felt guilty, that I don't appreciate being loved. I mean, two things. Being loved, I put a hugest question mark because I really, really, really think and know, 51, been around for a while, very observant. I don't think any of us know what love is. Or we do, maybe a lot of us do, some of us certainly do. And the ones who do know that it has nothing to do with another person. There isn't. So when someone tells me they love me, I know they're coming from a place that has nothing to do with me. There isn't. It's what I do for them, how I make them feel. It's all about them, the person, right? The other person. And yet they come to me claiming they love me. And this is all friendships, purely friendships. And it's like, no, no, you don't. You like me, you value me because I do all this good stuff for you and you feel great on the back of it, but you don't love me. But when they say they love you, it's like, how can you put yourself first when someone loves you? So whenever I did, and I keep doing it, it's in my nature, I can't help it. I'd learned not to want to help it, or I'd learned to be okay that I don't actually want to help it. So I wouldn't just not feel grateful. I would just, whatever, I would just do my thing, and that my thing would mean like distance, not continuing the connection, not nurturing it, not fostering, whatever. And then the guilt that it's that it's kind of in this comment that she made, it would like, well, you should be grateful, but also that I think I'm losing my thread a little bit here. But I think again I'm gonna leave it, and I think I'm coming up to almost 10 minutes. But the new feeling, like I say, of the most recent, and I'm not gonna touch it because I'm running, I don't wanna go over 10 minutes. The new feeling, the new sensation is that I'm genuinely just sinking into these feelings of self-love, for instance, self-appreciation, and actually freedom from hooks of those other people's expectations about past or present, and really, really loving it, and then kind of going, oh my God, am I really doing this? Am I really, really enjoying myself without guilt? It's phenomenal. Highly recommend it. If only I knew how to end this. Okay, day 6 ended. See you tomorrow.